Hey everybody, let's start learning how to use Google Sheets in order to make ourselves some graphs. We're going to start by working with histograms, and you need to go back to the same document that we've been working with, samples of human height, the one with your name on it, the same one that you used last time. So pause the video, open that up, find the tab that says histograms right here, and let's do this. All right. So for starters, if you want to make a histogram, there is an operation where Google Sheets will make that histogram for you. However, it's a good idea to do a little bit of thinking first. When you make a histogram, you have to decide where you're going to start and where you're going to end on the horizontal axis. And that all depends on your data. So our data right here was our human height. One thing that we might do is look at where the minimum and the maximum are. There are a couple different ways you could do this. You could sort the data, but I'm going to do it a little differently. Minimum and maximum. I can actually type a little formula, min of, let's see, this is C2 down to the largest one is C26. And it would tell me that the minimum height was 53 inches. And then right here, max, same data range, C2 to C26, is 78, which means that we need to make sure that we engineer our horizontal axis on our histogram so that it goes at least from 53 to 78. So a good range of values would be, well, maybe you could go from 50 to 80. That would make sure that you catch all of them. I personally think that you should have a little extra space, so I might even go from 40 to 90. Okay. All right, so with that in mind, here's what you're going to do. I want you to highlight the data that will be in the graph. So I have highlighted these numbers. We could also alternatively just highlight the entire column. And then you're going to come over here to the little chart icon. You could also select Insert Chart. Whoa, hey, look what we got there. That is definitely not a histogram. Let's work on this. I'm going to make my face go away. This is the chart editor right here. In the chart editor, you start with setup. And the most important part of the setup is the type of chart. There will be a number of options available here. Google Sheets tends to go for scatter plots. You don't want a scatter plot. You also do not want something that looks like this, a column chart. That's just listing each data value. What you want is this, the histogram of height. Okay. So there's our histogram. Now, let's start cleaning this histogram up so that it is nice and readable. A couple things that I don't like right off the bat. First, it uses all the space on the horizontal axis. And that's not a bad thing, but I find them to be a little more readable if you leave a little space over here and a little space over here. Second thing I dislike is that the width of the bins is 6 inches. And so we have these weird numbers, 56, 62, 68, 74, 80 on the horizontal axis. So we're going to fix both of those things. The first thing that you do once you choose Customize is you go down to the horizontal axis. And here, we're going to choose the minimum to be 40 and the maximum to be 90. And you'll see that now it has changed the axis to something that's a little more palatable. Another thing that I might do is if you go to Series, that allows you to change the color. I think this blue that they select is kind of ugly. So I always choose a different blue. Or maybe even, I don't know, let's see, a green. Okay, so now we've changed the color, and I don't like that green. Hang on, let's go back to the, there we go. Okay, most important thing is go to histogram, and here it's gonna say bucket size. Where they say bucket, you're gonna hear me describe it as a bin width, but it's gonna auto bucket size. You wanna go in here and check the most appropriate. Now, the most appropriate is definitely not 1. You can see that then we're getting buckets that are way too small. You want to have, say, at least 5 buckets, but not more than 10 when you're all said and done, unless you have a really large data set. 2 to me seems like there's still way too many unnecessary gaps in here. I think a good choice would be to select a bucket of 5. So you can see that what it's doing here is it's going from 50 to 55, then from 55 to 60, from 60 to 65, and so on. So each one of these bins has a width of 5 inches, and that's a pretty good choice. Other things you can do is you can change the title. So I would change this to sample of human height. You can also take that and you can, let's go right here, we can center it. Okay. One of the things I don't like is that this here on the vertical axis should say frequency. It won't let us select that frequency, or at least it won't let me. If you can think of how to do that, email me and I will add that to this video. Last thing I want to show you is that if we say, okay, we're done with the chart, and then we say, wait a minute, I do want to go back and edit this a little more. A couple things you can do. One is you can double click. Other is you can click the 3 ellipses in the corner, and you can choose edit chart. And then you can go back and do some more editing.